GETTYPrince William, arriving at the BFI for the screening of Blue Planet 2 alongside Tony HallSir D, is once again the narrator of the series, which chronicles life under the world's oceans in breathtaking detail, and the musician Jonny Greenwood said every 15 years youngsters growing up fall under the spell of his programs. The veteran broadcaster, famed for his natural history documentaries, was joined by the Duke at the screening of the first episode of Blue Planet 2, which will be broadcast from the autumn. Radiohead collaborated with film score composer Hans Zimmer on the music for a 5-minute Blue Planet 2 curtain raiser, shown before the premiere at the British Film Institute IMAX Cinema in central London. Greenwood, who attended the screening with Zimmer and his brother and fellow bandmate, Colin Greenwood, said the thing about Sir David Attenborough, our relationship with him, every 15 years kids grow up watching him. My kids love David Attenborough and BBC Nature programs. Of GETTYPrince William meeting Sir David Attenborough ahead of the screening. We hope the series makes you aware of the fragility of the marine world. There's simply no part of the ocean that hasn't felt the impact of humanity. Tony Hall, Director General of the BBC. The music, called Ocean Bloom, created with Zimmer for the short film, is based on the Radiohead song Bloom, from their 2011 album The King of Limbs, with vocals by lead singer Tom York. Greenwood said of the original track, the song is a reaction to being obsessed with the blue planet. Hans did a wonderful arrangement of the song and Tom re-recorded the vocal just last week. Tony Hall, Director General of the BBC, introduced the first episode of Blue Planet 2, telling the invited audience there's never been a more important time for us to bring nature in all its facets to everybody. To educate children and adults about the planet and to safeguard it for future generations. Blue Planet 2, a breathtaking series, has purpose. It promises to get all of us closer than ever to life hidden beneath the waves, and boy does it deliver on that. GETTYPrince William meeting with pupils from Lionel Road Primary School prior to the world premiere. After speaking about some of the highlights of the series, he added, but perhaps most importantly, we hope the series makes you aware of the fragility of the marine world. There's simply no part of the ocean that hasn't felt the impact of humanity. Before the screening, the Duke joined school children taking part in an interactive marina-themed event in the cinema's foyer. At one point, William sat with the youngsters from Lionel Primary School in Brentford, West London, as Blue Planet 2 assistant producer Rachel Butler, who was wearing full diving gear, held a question-and-answer session about filming underwater. When she asked if anyone had been snorkeling, the children shook their heads, but the Duke raised his hand. November 28, 2016. An African bull elephant swishes his trunk at the carmine beaters following him through the grassland of Botswana. Before the screening, Sir David Attenborough said he would sit down and write his narration script after looking at the footage filmed by the crews, and gave one example that he found fascinating. He said the phenomenon of a cleaner station, where fish go on a coral reef and cleaner fish go and pick off parasites and dead skin, it's a well-known thing. There's a marvelous sequence of the cleaning sequence, and at the end of it there's a turtle that settles down and these fish come pecking at it, and it shuts its eyes. And I, without looking at the footage notes, wrote, it's difficult not to believe that turtles come here just because they enjoy it. And having written that, I then heard from the research team some recent research actually shows that's the case.